Hi, Dennis Weiss for Eagle Communications. Welcome to our town. I have my co-conspirator at the Chamber of Commerce, Diane Miller, here with me today, but we're not talking about chamber business, not so much directly. You're M&M Tire, one of the M's.
That's right.
The other M's over there working on 2 Eagle trucks because I saw it as I drove by.
They are.
Okay, you have a small business on Buckeye, right at the edge of the historical district. You have a digital sign, and you have been in business there a while. I thought it was a great story to talk about today.
Thanks, Dennis. We will be celebrating our 20th anniversary next year in April.
Very good.
Already talking about how to make some plans to include the community in our milestone. And yes, the sign has been an asset for the business. I have people come in and say, I came here because I saw it on the sign. So you know that it's working. It's efficient for staff to manage. And with our partnerships through different vendors, including Napa right next door, because of the changing environment of today's businesses, things that we put on the sign can change in a matter of minutes.
Right.
So in order to let people know exactly what is going on or what they can take advantage of, that has been one of the best moves we've made in our business.
That's great news. You know, for people who don't think about how to get customers every day, it seems counterintuitive. Well, everybody knows M&M Tire. They do tires, and I'm sure they put a new battery in your car, and they might work on your car. But it's that visual flash reminder as they're driving by that lets people know that you are interested in helping them with their car repairs, their tires, and their batteries. And it lets them go from a thought that they buried last night just before they went to sleep to right here in the front of their mind right now. And then they can make a choice to do business with you. That's called advertising, and it works every time it's tried.
It does, and advertising is a real challenge because, believe it or not, as many years as we've been at that location, we still have people that come in and say, do you do? And thinking we only do tires, and we've had people make that comment. And we've done service business and repairs ever since we opened. So getting that message out is difficult.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, today people don't read the newspaper. They don't always listen to the radio station that you choose to advertise on. We used to have partners for our advertising. When Feist Area Wide first came out with when we first opened, they had their area-wide phone book, and they had a radio advertising rebate. Different vendors used to offer advertising incentives, and those have all gone away.
Yeah.
So you're constantly looking for ways to reach the public to let them know what your services are and what you can do to help them with their vehicles.
I look at your digital sign and I see a couple of things. I see it's a digital sign, which means you can change it daily, you can change it hourly, you can change it by the minute if you wanted to spend the energy to do that. But I also see a very tasteful sign strategically located on a corner where people drive by, and that you have control of. And I agree, the advertising marketplace has changed drastically in the last 20 years.
It has.
Eagle has, I don't know, 30 radio stations or something like that, and we're scattered out from St. Joe, Nebraska to St. Joe, Missouri, Alliance, Nebraska, Great Bend, Kansas. So we cover a wide area, and we do a lot of advertising on television as well. We also have several digital properties, which Salina Post is probably the closest one to Abilene. But when I go with Larry Avery and walk into a customer, it's always a mixture of those that make sense. And then sometimes we don't have a product that makes the most sense for a customer. And I think that digital sign is a great example of what a customer can do for themselves and that other people will have a hard time replicating. And that's a cool thing.
That's true, and it has helped our advertising mix. We had a sign up there. Unfortunately, it was something we inherited, and it had, over the course of time, deteriorated to the point that we couldn't hardly get any letters on it anymore. When we did the digital sign, we consciously made an effort to upgrade the look of the corner pole because it still had the walkway on it that they used to have when they had the gas prices that they would change frequently, and we took down that old box and we had a local person build us a new frame so that we could have everything updated, and significant improvement, I thought, for the looks of the corner.
I agree. It's done, it shows Abilene on a strategic spot to its best light.
It helped a bunch, and my only regret is that it took us so long to be able to get to the point where we could affordably do what needed to be done, and not only help the look of the community, but help the business as well.
Okay. M&M Tire, you and Butch have held forth there for 20 years, you just told us. You also have a son there.
We do.
And you're one of the examples in our core business district of successfully making the generational change.
We're trying.
You're trying, so let's talk about that. Tell us what you've done.
Dusty started working at the tire store when he was 16 because you couldn't hire him in a certified dangerous occupation until they were 16, and then they're limited as to what they can do. So he worked part-time through high school, and he helped put himself through college by coming back weekends and working summer at the store with us. And when he graduated from Fort Hays, he had a degree in computer information systems, and he and his wife decided they really wanted to come back to Abilene and live because they wanted the same opportunities for their children as they had growing up in a small community, and one like Abilene that was a good place to raise families. So we sat down and talked about what we could do, and he said, that sounds like a good idea, so he came to work for us full time. He actually did a lot for our business technology-wise. He kept pushing and pushing and pushing and forced us to really improve to compete. So as time goes on, and Butch and I are both past full retirement age, so it was time to figure out how we could make this work for the new generation, and he agreed that he would be willing to take over, and his wife is also going to be a partner in the business. So we're gradually letting go, I guess you could put it. It's not an easy process, I'll be honest about that. But we've got two very willing and eager people that are wanting to learn, and will do a great job in servicing the community.
So a funny story. So I was in your shop one day, before you put up the little sign about this, customers can't venture back and visit with the boys anymore, safety rules and all that. So I took a tire there from my farm, rolled it in, gave it to Butch, told him what the problem was. So, yep, I can fix it right now. He throws it up on the machine, it's hot, and he's sweating, covered with tire, you know. And I said, so Butch, how you enjoying your retirement? And we exchanged a few words. But what a great opportunity for a man to have his son in his business, and with a solid plan to be able to turn it loose and walk away and have the business be able to provide a living for the family below him. What a great opportunity.
It is, and we've structured everything legally so that as we go forward, everybody knows what the process is going to be. So it's working quite well. I'm not going to say there aren't any hiccups, but you know, it's nothing that we can't address as we go along.
You know, I don't know that this is an instant oatmeal plan for somebody watching there, unless they had a son about 35 years ago and they've done the same processes along the way that you have. But it's an inspiration to say there's somebody's son or daughter out there that's looking for an opportunity. It can be done. There are obstacles, but it can be done.
There are, and I think if you are thinking about something along those lines, just getting a legal opinion as to what your options would be and how you could structure the transition or the sale over a period of time, because it's really hard for a new entrepreneur to go in and bite the bullet and buy a business outright. So, and people struggle with changeover and transition. So it's a good idea to have a plan and to make sure that going forward the business remains financially viable, because that's the biggest key.
And now we're back to advertising again.
It is.
You know, you and I serve on the Chamber of Commerce as board members, and we're also most of the local government committee, so that means we work up here in this facility trying to represent the cause of business to government as often as we feel like we need to or can. The challenges that we're facing in small town America here in Abilene are simple. We have to find a way for commerce to continue to happen, and in sometimes generational changeovers the issue. But the issue today is for the business at the corner of Buckeye and 4th to be able to make money. And advertising's a big part of that. Business regulation's a big part of that. Having a sidewalk in front is a big part of that. Having a street that's under good repair is a big part of that. So business has a natural interest in the cause of government and should be working with government, is my position. What say you?
I agree, totally. It has to be a partnership both ways. And community citizens that have never been involved in a small business ownership or even a larger corporation in the management role, or have not been involved in government, sometimes don't see the connection. The shop at home slogan that you hear quite often is so important to the community. Not only does that fund government, it keeps our businesses viable. You know, we're luckier than some, or more fortunate than some in many ways, because people view their transportation as necessities, and it is.
It is.
Whereas a novelty store or a gift shop might be a luxury, and if they have to cut back somewhere, unfortunately those luxuries are the ones that take the hits. So I see downtown businesses doing new and innovative things all the time, just to keep their inventory fresh, to keep new ideas flowing. You know, you don't redecorate your home every day, so once you get it decorated and set, there has to be a reason to change. You know, one of the businesses downtown offers painting classes, and that's been a way to get people to come into town, because she's drawing from the area. They stay overnight, so she's helping the motels. All of these things really add to what makes a community a good place to live.
You and I have talked about growth before, that a community either must grow or it will die. There's no just holding pat in any living thing, and a community really is a living thing. It's represented by the people, the businesses, the government, but it has to grow. Abilene is sitting at the edge of a growth opportunity. We talked briefly about it before the camera came on. We're one of, I think, 7 finalists in the state of Kansas for an intermodal facility, which means transferring goods from one mode of transportation to another, in this case, trucks and trains. And we have a good chance, I think, of getting that, 1 out of 7 anyway. But it would mean growth for us, and new business, new opportunity, and the things that go along with it. I think it would be such a good thing to see some new growth happen in Abilene. That revenue drives the opportunity for the little gift shop and for the little dress shop and the little jewelry shop and those things, to have new people, new customers, new people that want a place to live, that drives everything. People and living here drives the rest of our business community, including M&M Tire.
It does. New employment opportunities gives people more chance to be a viable part of the community. And this new opportunity that possibly could come to Abilene would just be a shot in the arm. You know, we haven't had any really big industry moved in since Russell Stover.
Right.
So, and we've lost some big industry, some larger industry. Great Plains has been expanding. That has been a great partner for the community. But anything new that doesn't, and the beauty of it is it's not a competitor,
right,
for
it's
anything that we
additive.
currently have. So it would enhance everything. So that's something that the community really needs to get behind, and any way that we can support this proposal would be helpful. I'm always cognizant of the fact that competition drives good things. You either believe that or you don't. So when it comes to me, it's hard for me to complain about my competition. Sure.
Because competition drives growth. But it doesn't mean that occasionally I don't feel that. But I have to think my way through that and say competition drives growth. None of us can just hold still. So as a community, I think my advice to people who are sitting here looking at these growth potential is this is good for us, because it will drive all of us to be better than what we are today. And as we grow the pie, our share of the pie actually can result in more revenue for us, more profit for us, more opportunity to do what we say we want to do in Abilene. We want to retain young people that we have, like Dusty, your son. We were able to do that. We want to retain other people's children, want them to come back after they get out of college or after they go out and see the varmint, as they say, and come back into the world here. But we also want to attract people from other places who are looking for a better place to live and a new opportunity, and maybe they want to start a business in one of these historic buildings we're looking at out the window here, with a little donut shop or a little $8 muffin shop like they have in Boston. You know, those sorts of things. Abilene is trying hard to do to attract people, and this is going to be a great opportunity for us should we be able to close it.
That's correct, and I like your comment about if it's good for Abilene. I'm a firm believer, and I've heard this repeated several times, if it's good for Abilene and the area, it's good for your business, whether or not it's a competitor or something new and different. So customer service is what's going to drive the business community. I just downloaded a Kindle book this morning on, it's called Moonshot by John Scully, and it's about growth in the next millennium. And the very first thing that he said is that business now is no longer product driven, it's customer driven. So, and I see examples of this. I'm not sure if you've had Michael Hernandez on as a guest, but he was in yesterday and showed me some of the features on the Abilene app that he had actually gotten a comment that he wanted to share with me about our business. And then there was also several businesses that have purchased loyalty cards and put them on the Abilene app.
Right.
So you no longer have to have a pocket full and forget the one at home that you're going to use. You've got it right there on your phone.
Right. Michael has done all of us a great service by investing his mind in creating the Abilene app and offering it to businesses to use. It's a step forward for Abilene to remain competitive and to grow even more competitive for people's goods and services. That's the way it'll work.
It is. And we were one of the first businesses that joined the Abilene app. And at the time, there weren't many people using it, so it was a little iffy. And it was one of those things that you have to believe in. You have to think this is the vision for the future. And if we want to help this grow and become a reality for our community, we needed to step up.
Couldn't agree more, and that'll be a reminder to me to put Michael in front of the camera. He's been here for other reasons, but not specifically about the Abilene app, and we should have him. I
Yes.
like your suggestion. Okay, you made a comment that service versus product is a new economy. I agree with that. I didn't know this until I was doing some research the other day, but I think it's maybe the Kiwanis Group, their old motto, he who serves the best profits the most. Great saying. So interesting that that has become our focus again, serving people.
It is. It has to be, because there's too many opportunities out there, especially with the availability of online merchandise. So you have to be a good service provider in order to survive. And sometimes it seems a little wrong, because customers will come in with things that really are not your problem, but you help them anyway,
Sure.
just because it's the right thing to do.
Well, because this is Diane Miller from M&M Tire, I'm going to tell you this story as we sign off today. So I was at M&M Tire, and in walks a father and a little girl behind him. They had a bicycle tire. And the father says, "Do you fix these bicycle tires?" And of course the little girl was like this. And Butch looked at it and said, "Yes, we do." And boy, everybody brightened up. They handed Butch a tire, and then they left. And then Butch looked at me and he said, "I hate to fix these tires. They're so hard to fix." He said, "But we still do them." That's service.
It is. And
That's service.
we added that several years ago because you couldn't hardly buy a bicycle tire or tube in town.
Yeah,
So, and we don't really have a good supplier for them.
yeah.
So it's just something that we do because we are a small community.
Well, Diane, thanks for coming today. We're out of time. I appreciate M&M Tire for what you do over there and what you help us with at the Chamber and your years of service in the community. And while Butch is over there changing Eagle's oil in the trucks, we'll tell him thank you too for Eagle.
Okay, thank
All
you.
right. Folks, thanks for joining us today. For Eagle Communications, I'm Dennis Weiss. Have a great day.